We are now live.
We are now live.
It's been a doozy of a day, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just getting started. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. We're live on Instagram. What's up, Home Skillet? How you doing? Today, we're starting off with a discussion on sleep.
Which I'm not going to get tonight.
Likewise. So, with you not getting much sleep, you'd probably be a great candidate to talk about how to improve it, huh?
What?
Don't start a business.
Yeah, don't start a business. You won't get sleep.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, we have definitely taken a keen interest towards sleep. I feel like we've talked about sleep on a Q&A before, but I feel like sleep is one of those things that we can never talk too much about because everybody needs to do it.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about your sleep hacks first? You got a little nightly routine.
Yeah.
Talk about your nightly routine.
All right. So my nightly routine has changed quite a bit recently. All right. So I started off, we've been trying to do like a tea at night. And we haven't been doing it like the last couple nights, but we've been trying to do like a tea at night, brush my teeth, and then I lay in bed on this like it's like an acupuncture mat, right?
It's acupuncture pressure mat.
Yeah. Acupuncture pressure mat. And it's like $20 on Amazon, and you just lay on it, and it is like pokey. It's supposed to be a little bit uncomfortable, but then you eventually get used to it. So I lay on that for like 10 or 15 minutes. And while I'm laying on that, I take a face wipe, and I wipe off all my makeup, and I put on my moisturizer, and I have like a jade roller, and it like helps to break up like lymph and everything in your face and just relaxes you, honestly. And I get a lot of like tension headaches and things like that. So I'll rub it on like my temples and my jaw, and it's been really, really helpful. And I've actually just really enjoyed my little nighttime routine. So it's been really great. I feel like I sleep just fine. We generally do turn down the AC. It's not as cold as Robert would prefer it, but it's cold enough for me. And what else do I do? Oh, I do take Allie Miller's Relax and Regulate at night as well. It's a magnesium. So those are the things I do.
This is tracking really weird. Let me see if I can fix this real quick.
How's everyone doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing fantastic. Oh.
There we go. Is that better? Yeah.
I guess it was like kind of far back, huh?
Yeah, let's try that. Should be better. All right, let's talk about my sleep routine. So, most important thing you can do about improving your sleep is to have a really hard, intense day. If you do that properly, efficiently every day, it's going to be pretty easy to fall asleep in most situations. For those situations where it's not easy to fall asleep, let's talk about the nuance. Let's talk about the details and specifics. Ideally, you want to make sure you're hydrated. You want to make sure you get enough electrolyte balance. And I like to backload the majority of my magnesium toward the latter half of the day. So I'll do the magnesium calm, about 500 milligrams of that an hour or two before I go to sleep. I try to have my last meal 2 or 3 hours before I go to sleep. That's not been happening very regularly lately because we've been so busy that we haven't been able to eat throughout the day. So we just eat at the end of the day, and then
really not the best.
Yeah, it's not the best. But ideally, you want to eat a few hours before you go to bed. There's kind of a give and take there. I actually can fall asleep easier if I eat right before going to bed, but the quality of my sleep diminishes if I eat right before going to bed.
And your food does not digest. Like your body is worried about your food digesting and not your resting. So you're not gonna like get all the benefits of sleep and recovery because your body's still trying to process all that food.
Yeah, and even your body is processing it, but that is a very demanding metabolic process. So while your body through this metabolic demanding process, it's not focused on being in a parasympathetic, relaxing sleep standpoint either. You want to be in a parasympathetic state when you're absorbing your food, but ideally that's not why you're also trying to sleep. So eating a meal several hours before you go to bed is good from a sleep optimization standpoint. Definitely turning the thermostat down. I like it to be like 60 degrees. Crystal likes it to be like 93. So we have a little bit of a discrepancy there.
And we keep it at 65 now. And it's great because he likes it at 60, but I was waking up in the night really cold. And so he was getting amazing sleep while I was waking up freezing. So we settled for 65.
We're going to invest in a Uller pad or a chili pad, which is a thermoregulation sleep topper mattress thing that basically is adjustable per side of the bed. So she'll be able to ramp hers up to a warmer temperature. I'll be able to drop mine down to a cooler temperature, and that will be something that we invest in for that purpose. A couple other things. I've been playing around with CBD. I've had several companies send me some samples. Could you actually grab those right there? Not the ball, but yeah, these. All right, so I've had Santa Cruz Medicinals send me, if that's going to focus, yeah, a CBD-infused French vanilla tincture, in which a serving is 60 mils. Man, that's not right. 1 mil, 100 milligrams of CBD. However, I've noticed that with most of the CBD tinctures, what they recommend is just not really an effective dose. And this is across the board with all brands, at least what I've personally found. So I'll oftentimes do multiple dropperfuls, like normally at least 2, oftentimes 4. And that to me seems to make more of a difference.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, I know. But the thing about CBD is like, it's kind of a weird thing. And I'm still kind of skeptical about CBD personally. I know it's been proven effective for a lot of other individuals beyond just the placebo effects. This is another one. This is the Uliva, probably I'm pronouncing that wrong, brand. And this one is 50 milligrams per serving for a dropper full. Again, I'll do more. And then this is also the CBD infused, this is MCT oil from Santa Cruz. But what I've found is that in playing around with the CBDs, I'll take a bunch of it before I go to bed, and I won't wake up throughout the night. I don't get like this very stark contrast difference in how I feel. I don't think you're supposed to with CBD. Yeah. I don't feel, I mean, there's nothing that is different that I feel. What I notice is that I don't tend to wake up throughout the night, which is a plus. Now, sometimes I'll wake up through the night without CBD. Sometimes I'll wake up, I won't wake up throughout the night with CBD. But I've noticed that since taking the CBD, I seem to have more consistent nights in which I do not wake up in the middle of the night. So that's a plus.
I've never really taken CBD consistently enough. I think I've taken it like twice ever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have any say in that, but.
And one thing that I have been doing since I've been in a caloric surplus and I'm trying to get more calories in, I'll have a yogurt. So you don't want to have like a big ribeye steak right before you go to bed because that's going to be pretty demanding on your body to break that down. However, something much more simple to break down, like a cup of yogurt, which is a good source of protein. If you're doing like full fat yogurt, a good source of fat. A little bit of lactose, carbs in there, but not a whole lot if you're getting a good quality source without any added sugars. And I'll do that as I'm trying to get the calories in. I'll have that right before going to bed, and I'll put my CBD in that. So I'll put my dropperfuls of CBD in the yogurt, and I'll eat that, and that allows me to, like I said earlier, I tend to fall asleep faster after having a meal. But if I have a heavy meal, it disrupts my sleep throughout the night. If I have a yogurt, which is light meal, with the CBD, I'm able to kind of get the best of both worlds and fall asleep sooner and stay asleep without waking up throughout the night. So that's been a plus. What are some other sleep hacks? It's pretty much the main things I've been doing. You know?
Too. I used to do a breathing routine. It's like the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 7, and you breathe out for 8. When I was having really bad anxiety, I had a hard time falling asleep, and I would use that breathing routine. And I probably did it like 10 or 15 times before I would actually like start to relax a little bit, and then I would eventually fall asleep. So that is really helpful too.
I forgot my mouth taping. I'm mouth tape.
Oh my gosh, he's a mouth taper.
He's a mouth taper. So I mouth tape every night. That has a very profound impact. I use the micropore tape. I'll put that on my mouth before going to sleep. and that helps a lot. Crystal hates it,
Yeah.
but I don't know why you hate it.
I won't do it for you or for me.
Like you hate it that I do it because you want to talk, but you don't talk. So it's like, why don't I just put my mouth tape on?
We work together, but we work very separately. Like we are busy throughout the day, so we don't spend a whole lot of time throughout the day together, even though we work together. And so at night, I just want to like talk and like just I don't know, be together. And he's like bringing out the tape. I'm like, no, not the tape. I'm not ready for the tape yet. And then it's like that. Like once it's on, that's it. That's all.
I think you could benefit from the mouth tape. I think you could benefit from the mouth tape during the day. Ooh.
Wow, you guys are about to see spicy Crystal come out.
I'm just joking. I love her. So yeah, I do that. And then there was one other thing that I was gonna mention. Oh, my alarm clock is thebomb.com. All right, so my alarm clock.
It is pretty awesome.
Crystal likes the alarm clock. So the alarm clock, I've talked about this in a 7-Set Sunday newsletter, but it's one of those that has a nighttime function and an alarm clock function. So the nighttime function, it has like birds chirping, and it kind of like gets quieter and quieter over the next 20 minutes, which is nice. No. But then it also dims gradually.
You said birds chirping. Why would you want to listen to birds chirping?
Oh, it's waterfalls. It's like waterfalls or something.
Yeah, it's waves.
You can change it too, but the nighttime one is waves, and it starts out louder, and then it gets more and more ambient, and then becomes more silent.
Nice.
And it dims gradually as well. So it starts out not bright, but brighter. It's a very soft tone, and then it gets more and more dim and more quiet. And that's the nighttime routine. The morning routine is you set the alarm, and then it gradually gets brighter and brighter until that time is met. And then you can make it so that like birds are chirping, and those get noisier and noisier.
Yeah, I like a lot.
But that is much more pleasant to fall asleep to and wake up to than a normal alarm.
Yeah. Sunny said, "Oh."
All right, let me get these answered here. Chris says, "I loved your podcast. A good one. It was really good to hear two keto bodybuilders just discuss openly and respectfully." I appreciate you listening to that. I thought it was a good episode for sure. Susan M says less than 64 degrees. Yeah, I am. Or no, 60. Yeah, less than 64 degrees. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I gotta have that cool temp.
I will wake up and be not happy.
I also read the cooler is the higher the metabolism. I also read the cooler it is the higher the metabolism. So yes, that's a good point. When your metabolism is really ramping up. So say for instance, I'm just coming out of a caloric deficit during a cut, and I start ramping my calories back up. My body exerts a lot more heat, and I'm much warmer, like I'm much hotter throughout the day. So I tend to need even cooler temperatures. When I'm in a prep and my calories are much lower, I'm like freezing cold a lot of the time. So I'm more like on the same page as Crystal when I'm in a prep. It's like we're both cold.
Oh yeah, when he's in a prep, it's so great because then we both like the same temperature.
Yeah, but not most times.
I prefer ASMR. Ugh, sorry, I know you hate that noise. I cannot stand it. It like makes me want to punch people.
ASMR, Alexa Blast AC/DC. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's pretty funny.
I could go for the AC/DC. That's
which
fine.
AC/DC song do you have as the wake up? Like Back in Black, Hell's Bells? Like which one is it?
Y'all gonna make a keto break cookbook?
We're
not
cooks.
Recipe people. We're not good at that stuff.
We're not pros in the kitchen. Does taking magnesium help with staying asleep throughout the night? I fall asleep fast but wake up multiple times. It can, but there's like a tipping point because if you have too much magnesium, it may make you have to pee. Because like if their electrolyte balance is out of balance, then you may have to get up and pee.
Or go to the bathroom.
Yeah, or not just pee. So take that into consideration.
Do you taper caffeine? I think both of us try not to have caffeine in the afternoon to the evening.
You were drinking a Monster 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I plan to stay up late tonight. Yeah. Generally speaking, I try not to have like caffeine like after 2 p.m.
Cindy Molina says, "Hey guys, eating 2,300 calories. I don't register ketones for a few weeks. Is it normal? Is it because of the intake? It makes me lose my mental clarity and I want it back. What can I do?" Totally normal. When you're in a surplus, it is totally normal to see lower ketones and higher blood glucose. Hopefully your blood glucose is still You know?
Go ahead.
Still, hopefully your blood glucose is still within a healthy range. You're not seeing them in like hundreds or anything. But yes, that is normal. And you also will lose a little bit of mental clarity when you're in a surplus, believe it or not. Like I'm in a surplus now. I'm not in the instance of today because I haven't eaten much today. But generally speaking, right now I'm in a pretty significant surplus, and I prefer my mental sharpness and the way I feel cognitively when I'm in a deficit.
I would also like to mention that's great on the calories, but where's your carbs at?
She's in DSK.
Oh, okay. Are you doing any artificial sweeteners? That would be my other question. Like, are you doing any artificial sweeteners? And like what types of foods are you eating? That would be my question. But like Robert said, it's very, very common, very typical in a surplus for sure.
What is the next question there? Certain scratching noises just turns my brain off.
They said back in black.
Oh, nice.
Certain scratching noises just makes my brain turn off. LOL. What are your CBD observations so far?
Pretty much what I was saying earlier. Like I feel like the main thing is that if I take a bunch of it before I go to sleep, I don't wake up throughout the night. It doesn't make me fall asleep faster. I don't notice any change in like muscle soreness or anything like that. But it does seem to allow me to sleep through the night.
I'm making pulled pork for dinner tonight. What are y'all doing?
I don't know, but I'm hungry. What are we going to do for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I have my Lady Savage Facebook group is doing a room chat tonight at 6 p.m. And then I'm going to have to go to the grocery store and do a lot more work tonight. So I'm probably just going to pick up like some cheese and some deli meat and do some roll-ups or something.
Can you pick up some plants while you go grocery shopping? We need some plants for the studio room.
This guy.
I'm
all about the plants though, so that's fine.
Yeah. So what else we got? We need more questions, y'all. Bring in some more questions. I don't know. What am I gonna have for dinner? We don't have anything. We have no groceries right now.
We don't. We are really out of groceries.
We are out of groceries. We're out of food.
We have stuff in the freezer.
Yeah, but it's frozen.
You can thaw it out.
I don't want to defrost it. I'm more of like that.
Goodness.
Are y'all? Here's a question. Are y'all more the type to defrost something, like take something out of the freezer, stick it in the defrost microwave, or do y'all prefer to let it thaw over the course of like 48 hours?
I think everyone would prefer it to just thaw naturally.
But who does? Cindy says, I only do a few stevia drops some days and keto bricks. I eat mostly meat and a few veggies. My blood sugar is definitely a bit higher in the 90s and over 100 upon waking up until I eat. Yeah, right upon waking, that's not unheard of.
It's going to naturally be higher for sure.
Yeah. But you probably, what I would do, you've been at 2,300 calories for 1 week or 2 weeks now. It's not been a super long time, right? I would try and be at that for at least a month. And then from there, you don't want to start cutting calories, but you may be able to back it off ever so slightly. Like if you're at 2,300 and you're feeling suboptimal, what you might want to do is try and maintain that for a month and then drop to 2,200 and just hold that. You don't want to start cutting calories yet, but find a good, healthy, sustainable, slight surplus. 2,300 may be too much of a surplus, but you don't want to dip below 2,000 certainly. So I would try and do 2,300. See how you feel after a month of that, and then scale back to maybe 2,200 and see if that makes a noticeable difference. Hello from Texas.
Sunny said, I would have brought you some plants. That's funny. I have some plants. They're just in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, we need some more plants.
I ran out of steak, so need to use the pork shoulder before buying half a cow.
I'm jealous of half a cow. Manny D, does it matter if I eat before going to sleep or should I wait? We talked about that. I don't know when you're jumping on. We talked about that in the beginning of the video, but I would definitely try and eat a few hours prior to going to bed. Again, to recap, I fall asleep sooner if I eat, but I don't sleep as thoroughly throughout the night if I eat right before going to bed. So I would try to eat several hours before going to bed.
Mm-hmm. Mary says, I thaw it on the counter. Haven't died yet.
Hey, that's
I'm pretty
totally
sure
fine.
that that's pretty much how we do it too. So
thaw first for most things.
Yeah. Toss it in a bowl of water and it'll be defrosted in an hour or less.
That's pretty smart too.
Really, in an hour or less?
Well, it depends if it's like strips of bacon, probably an hour or less.
Yeah.
Filet, probably an hour. If it's a big roast probably be more
Usually like
civilized.
our ribeye or something
Yeah.
is not.
I missed one from Cindy. But it stays high in the morning until I eat, then drops 20 points. So it's like 80 after you eat. What do you eat for your first meal? Like a bulletproof coffee? What's your thoughts on protein prioritized keto that everyone is now talking about?
Because it's a popular thing to do right now.
Well, I think this is a very loaded question, CMG. But to answer your question, protein is very, very important.
Super important.
Super incredibly important. I am not going to sit here and say people need to eat less protein.
We eat lots of protein.
We advocate protein. However, there is this trend happening right now in the keto community that it seems people are giving protein a halo at the expense of fat. And that is not cool. Fat is also very important.
Very important.
And it's going to be a different intake that's going to optimize for each individual. So don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to have super high protein and very little fat, because then what's happened is you've made it full circle and you're back to bro dieting, and that's just not good either.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, it is funny that people are starting to kind of like go that full circle, because that high protein is bro diet. You know, a lot of people do like high protein with some carbs or high protein with some fat. And that is what was so not optimal that like Robert was doing, which is why he started keto. But everyone's going to be so different, and we suggest start with a super high fat, slowly increase that protein, and figure out where that protein threshold lies for you as an individual. If you start to feel worse as your protein goes up, then you might be finding your protein threshold. If that means that your protein's way higher than your fat, that is you as an individual. But don't fall into the trap of what's popular. Just truly dive in and listen to what your body is telling you that feels right. There's nothing wrong with trying things, but try it for you. Don't try it because it's popular.
Yeah. I thaw things on the counter. Microwave might make stuff taste funky. Yeah, I agree.
Thaw in 24 hours in the fridge, prepping a day before Amigo.
That's the way to do it. That meal prep. Meal prep Mondays. Thank you, Manny D. You bet. Cindy Melina says thanks. No problem. What?
Roberto Gadget Guy. You will want to switch to the Whoop and ditch the Aura. Never.
I've heard good things about the Whoop.
I will never. I hate strappy things.
I do like the Aura because I wear wrist straps when I'm training. I don't like having a wrist strap on top of my, like if I had a Whoop strap, I wouldn't want it to conflict with my lifting straps. But I have heard really good things about the Whoop. So why do you prefer the Whoop over the Aura? Question for you. Don't do bulletproof coffee, but I eat meat and brick around 12 or 1 p.m. So you're waking up and you're not having anything calorie-wise at all until 12 or 1 p.m.?
How can we get the bricks in Canada?
I've actually got a meeting with our FedEx rep probably either this week or next week, because they've just changed some of their FedEx shipping requirements, and it should be cheaper to ship to Canada than it ever has been before. So I'm very excited about that. I feel like we're making tangible progress with the international shipping to Canada, and it's got a very quick delivery time too. So like I said, I should be speaking with that rep either this week or next week, probably next week. But
promise we're trying to make progress with
hopefully that will be in line sooner rather than later. Arlene says, seriously went high protein carnivore for lupus, RA, etc., and my uric acid went through the roof, edema and water retention. Now I'm having a hard time regulating all that. Do not go high protein. Yeah, I've had a lot of people that have really wanted to try the high protein keto, and it's so different for everybody. So I don't want to say like don't do it. It's not great, but what I've found in working with my clients is that they'll follow a higher fat, moderate protein, adequate protein, but moderate protein relative to fat, and very low carb, and they'll see progress. And they'll see the hype of the high protein in the context of very low fat, so they'll try that. And they'll enjoy it for a little bit because they get to have, new flavors, new varieties that they haven't had for a while, but things will start plateauing and they'll stall, and they'll feel suboptimal, they'll notice more inflammation. Then they'll go back to the higher fat version, and then everything will start moving again. So that's been one thing that I've noticed.
My Aura always knows when I ate too close to bed. Yeah, it sure does. Getting a DEXA tomorrow. really ready to see where I sit at.
Let me know, man. I'm curious. Have you ever used a CGM? Does it stay on okay through heavy workouts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using the NutriSense CGM, and it stays on pretty good. I haven't had any issues with it. Manny D, have you tried the mouth taping? I think you must have joined a little bit later on in the video, Manny D, because yes, definitely a big fan of mouth taping. I do recommend it.
If you're going to cook a roast, it'll be 2 hours or less in the water, I think.
Oh, that's pretty quick. He's got a soup.
Yeah.
He's got magic
It must
water.
be hot water.
He's got magic water.
Hey, super folks, thinking of you often.
What's up, Sarah? Kevin says, curious of deodorant, shampoo, toothpaste, etc. do you use? What's that brand?
Oh gosh, okay, what?
Toothpaste, we've been using the Burt's Bees. His toothpaste that we've been using, and
Dr. something. Doctor, that's the blue one.
All the different. Well, there's a label, and they make like shampoo and soap and everything. It's like a label that has so many words on it. It's like mind-boggling how many words it has on it. But it's like not the nutrition. It's like all the things it's good for, or not nutrition, but it's not the ingredients that's so long. It's all the different uses of it. But that one's got a pretty clean ingredient list.
Also, shampoo, deodorant, makeup, face wash, all that stuff. I have been addicted to using Beauty Counter. They have a men's kit. I just purchased the entire kit for Robert. I'm really excited to see what he thinks. He's used some of their products, but not all of it. But I legitimately just actually became a consultant, and not because I want to sell it to everyone and everything and all the things, but because I truly believe in their product. Like, that's all I've been using for months upon months, and I feel a difference. Like, my hair feels and looks good, my makeup, my face, like everything is awesome. They just came out with a deodorant, so that is literally all I will use on my body.
I am not a consultant, but I use whatever she gets, and it all smells pretty good. That's it, Dr. Bronner's.
Oh yeah, Dr. Bronner's. That's the toothpaste.
Or is it Bronner's?
Bronner's. One of those.
One of those two. Sorry I was late. Grandpa duties kept me busy. No worry, we got you now. Brad says, Dr. Squatch. Squatch? Dr. Squatch.
My CrossFit coach suggested keto gains type macros that would be 95 fat, 125 protein. That's not enough food.
Yeah, it's pretty low on the calories. I've definitely got some different opinions with keto gains style macros. Definitely some difference of opinions with that for sure.
Yeah. We have the open coming up, so it's a lot of intense speed, volume, strength, explosive movements, everything.
Nice. You got to make sure you get enough calories in order to feel the workouts. And if you're doing 95 fat and 125 protein, you're probably going to be underfed.
All protein or all plant-based. No, we have a chocolate peanut butter cup and a chocolate malt that are both made with whey protein.
How did that birthday cake taste from Blue Barn Bakery? That birthday cake was really good. The bomb.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Super good.
Super good.
Jonathan says, yo, what's up, savages? Sarah said, I'm ready to try a change in my macros, but I'm skeptical, of course, of less than 70%.
Well, try it. I mean, you're always, like, make sure you're eating enough calories, but feel free to manipulate the macros. Try some different ratios and see what feels good for you.
However, I wonder if it would be helpful, if it will help. I started gaining again, and my strength is not feeling where it should be.
Yeah, I don't know where you're on your calories right now, but if you just are finishing your deficit, you probably need more calories.
Yeah. I am in Arizona, so that might affect the defrost rate. That is very true. That
probably affects the defrost rate.
Yep, it is Dr. Bronner's. Hello, you got to get him some...
T. Shanley?
I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what that is.
I wonder if the protein would help with the intensity of the sport. I used to eat a lot of protein before I learned how to do macros from Robert and mostly ate organs.
You do want to make sure you're having enough protein, though.
Yeah, the 125 protein is great, but I feel like that's so low on the fat that I don't know, like, that's not going to be enough food. Yeah. And the fat is where you're going to get your energy. So the protein you have is great. The fat is where you're going to get your energy. And if it's so low, I would feel like, especially if you're doing like explosive movements and stuff, you're gonna have a really hard time like getting up that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Notice the less, it's less. Calories. Keto gains keeps my calories really low. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a man.
I was diagnosed with
Men's
SIBO.
skincare.
I was put on a ton of supplements, gained 15 pounds, can't lose, need advice, been keto for 5 years. That's a pretty deep question right there. It kind of, I mean, there's a lot of things that it depends on. So I don't know what your current metabolic rate is. I don't know what your current caloric intake is. But if you don't know what your current intake is, I would track that for a little while and kind of figure out what your baseline is, what you're naturally gravitating to from a intuitive standpoint, and track that and just see kind of what you're naturally gravitating to. And then from there, we can adjust based off of what that is.
Jonathan just said 95 grams of fat is miserable. Miserable.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
I would feel like death probably if I ate that little fat. Like my fat is like probably closer to 200 every day.
Yeah, I'm like
so that's
300.
like that is less than half of what my fat is normally.
Yeah, you don't want to undereat. All right,
and
y'all.
my protein's more than that.
All this food talk's got me hungry. I'm gonna go find some food and get to work. So we love y'all. We need a question for next week. What's the question? Next week?
We need a question for next week.
Somebody submit a question for next week. The 90 grams of fat in a keto brick is awesome, but for total is torture. Yeah, I mean, there's literally 90 grams of fat in a keto brick, and that would not be enough for a whole day.
They said a shake with extra 10 grams of fat and 25 grams of protein around workouts. So that would be 150 grams of protein, 110 grams of fat. Yeah, I know, but I really want to gain strength.
Yeah, then you need to be in a surplus, like a caloric surplus. Like when we were working together, you were in a deficit, so you need to be in a surplus to really maximize gaining strength. So increasing overall calories is key.
Yeah, overall calories and protein is great for helping build muscle. However, if you aren't ingesting the energy that you're going to be expending, then you're not going to have enough energy to do the strength training that you need to do to build a muscle. Does that make sense?
Sophie says, do you have a macro calculator on your site? Yes, but I'm redoing the website and the macro calculator. Similar concept, but much, much better. So that should be done in the not too distant future. And Michael has got the question for next week.
Sweet.
What is the difference between saturated and other fats we should be aware of? Great question, Michael. So we will dive into that next week. Hopefully you didn't just sign on and submit this question and we're not answering it.
Because we'll be there next week.
But we'll be there next week. All right, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate all y'all for jumping on. And we will talk to y'all very soon. Bye-bye. Ta-ta for now.